when you go to jail, you'll be excited about life when you get out because in jail they have all this rap music and yada yada to make it look so cool. You get this canteen, or no, in the movies they make it so cool. You're a gangster. You get to order out canteen yada. That's Amazon, and it's more than what's in jail. Jail they got nothing. Amazon you have like millions of items. Soap. I just ordered a hoodie. Right in prison you can order like sweatpants and all that. In freaking Amazon and the out society, if you make it and all that, you can order anything. They got everything. I just ordered a Carhartt hoodie, all different hygiene stuff, ketchup. I get my ketchup. In jail, you get like tiny little ketchups. I get big bottles in bulk amounts, 2 ketchups and all that. If you start thinking like that, but be a good person, but have that little it's a military or jail police mind state, which you can have a military mind state. That's our canteen, Amazon. You pay cash, they deliver it. It's a whole. They tried to explain that to me years ago. Where I read something that said that your local stores, it's your local store. You go in there and they have the surplus. I never understood the whole surplus and blah 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 before. They only have, okay, we live in this country, or you live in a country, I don't know if you do or if you're a citizen or not. You have to be a citizen. Your family had to get citizenship. I have citizenship, natural born, all that. My family was able to get that. We were wealthy enough. We were wealthy. Where I have citizenship, people pay big money for citizenship. I had it, whatever. Okay, but you have your citizenship, and then once you're a citizen, you have certain privileges that you claim. Hospital, I get access to with the food and all that. I get access to anything that requires a natural born citizen. I get. Whereas somebody that's born somebody else, they don't. I don't know what their situation is, but they have agreements. My agree on natural born citizen. We've already did so much. But I keep moving. I'm doing more and all that. But my citizenship was paid for me since birth. I have my birth certificate, and a lot of people have their citizenships given to them, but it's a pass. You can lose that citizenship. Look at Randy Jackson. He used to be dual citizen, and I hate to mention him again. He used to be dual citizen. He lost his Canadian privileges. He's no longer ever allowed in Canada. All that. If he gets he has to, if he wants to go to the hospital, he's going to have to go to some hospital in the United States. Luckily, I think he's military. They have a hospital, military hospital, but when he gets older and if they don't go to military hospital, he'll be paying big money to in U.S. hospitals. In Canada, I get it covered. Natural born citizen. I've retained my citizenship. I've never lost it. You can buy all your gun stuff just like U.S. Canteen on Amazon. I don't. I call it Canteen Amazon or just Amazon. I call it just Amazon, but for a minute I want to call it Canteen. I got Gatorade, big things of Gatorades. Because in jail, everybody stocks their cells up, right? They have this little tiny cell. You always see the videos. They stock it up. They got like freaking a million drinks, a million this, a million chocolates, a million this, that, and the other. And then they always laughed at us like, oh, we got more chips than your grandmama's house and all that. People have been doing that stuff in the U.S. I used to watch that Coupon Clippers. It was a big show. They'd go and they'd have coupons. They'd go to every store and they'd stock up. They'd clip all their coupons and save them. And they'd go to the store. Ever since that, I'd watch that show. They would buy first. You got to buy plastic shelving, and then you just start bottle by bottle and yada yada. And I always wanted to have this. You don't got to go to the store as much. Like I said, my head is. I just bought a big bottle of Tylenol. I got the worst headaches. I just want to relax, have it. I have diabetes and all that. I get dehydrated, and it's such a horrible experience having to go to the store so often. Hey, but what can you do until you get on the right track? Within the next couple of years, I'll be on that right track of being able to be like one of these coupon clippers. Like I said, I got soap galore. Right now, I got a lot of soap. I bought a men's that Dove men's they got a good price on Dove men's. I think like $9 for nine or whatever. I don't know. It's $1 a bar. I remember in Teeswater, I was getting ripped off at this one store. They were selling me one bar of soap for $10. I was like, what world am I freaking living in? I was like, it's impossible to even make it. I'm getting robbed for a bar of soap, and then back finally. But it's all a good learning experience. That's the hype. Hey, it's business with certain things. But Amazon, dollar for one soap, they deliver it to you. 10 count soap, men's. I feel rich. For $10, I got 10 soaps, whereas I used to get ripped off for $10, I get one soap. So now it's starting to add up, right? The value of the dollar. I'm getting 10 soaps for $10. It's starting to stack up. I'm going to have so many soaps, and it's going to be a lot cleaner. Because my Auntie Carolyn's got a lot of this and that, but it's so dirty in her apartment. I like to keep it clean. Well, my Auntie Carolyn, she doesn't even walk. She broke her hip. So she broke her hip. Oh, there's too much stuff on Amazon. I got so much stuff, and I used to buy a lot of stuff, but guess what? Here I got a good news. I'm almost at recuperating pretty much everything that I ever lost or had that I bought legally. So, like, I used to have this basketball arcade, but I lost it a lot of years back, and it really hurt my head and all that. It hurt my head or whatever. It took years, to adjust and for others to adjust. I came from such a poor family with all these poor friends. Even the smallest amount of money was a big adjustment, but I should have had more money. It's hard to explain, but even with Phil Thompson, it took a lot of time for them to wrap their head around me. But now I've almost got everything that I used to have. I got two gaming laptops. I got all my Dell monitors. I'm going to get this Papa Shot dual basketball again. That's gone down a price. It used to be $500 for that arcade basketball. Now it's $389. That's like I get my disability now. I get my disability, so I'll have enough to buy it with my disability. I almost have everything I ever had again, plus more, plus the experience and the learning. I'm a firearm owner now. I never was a firearm owner in Canada before. That's a big thing. I had a pellet gun and all that, and now I'm a real firearm owner. Also, two firearms: 410 shotgun and a 32. I got special exemption on them. Anybody I think 18 or over can own an antique firearm here in Canada. And you have to be regulated on which ammunition you have. You can't go to the store and buy it. You got to be regulated through an RPAL or PAL or the police or military or government. They got a really nice, big and tall leather office chair. They got a really nice leather office chair. Oh my God, these Star Wars t-shirts on Amazon are freaking amazing. They're 5XL. I wore one today. They're not much money. They're like $30. They do not have them in Walmart here. They have them on Amazon, CA. Man, I've been looking for these t-shirts for years. You used to have to go into the mall. I remember when I was a kid thinking you'd have to go into the mall. Oh, I gotta go to the city to go into the mall. That's what you used to have to do. Go into the mall when I was a kid to buy these T-shirts. You'd have to go in Hot Topic or stuff like that. I would never. It's hard to. Oh, I mean, I guess you could go in a Hot Topic, but that's a whole thing. Going into Hot Topic. This Jeff Bezos is amazing because I don't want to go into Hot Topic. I just want to stay in my general area and buy the shirts and open them up and put them on and look great like I went to Hot Topic or whatever, but I don't really want to go. Nobody does, I don't think. Like when you're a kid, you want to go to Hot Topic? Excuse me. And I went several times and I got the whole, all that. I've been to the mall since I was a kid. But once you get your mall experience out of you, I even went to one of the biggest malls in the world, the West Edmonton Mall. Didn't get to do much stuff there. But there's so much stuff there. Me and my brother, we got to go to. We did the theme park. See, I'm from freaking the East Coast, Toronto. We came from Quebec, and then before that it was Europe, and then all down East Coast, East and United Kingdom, East Coast in Ireland, East Coast, Florida, Tennessee, da 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 da. But I always wanted to go out west. The furthest out west I ever went was Alberta, Canada. And when I was there, I got to go to West Edmonton Mall. This was back in 2010. It was I think next to the Mall of America. It's the second largest mall in North America. So I got to go there and all that or whatever. My brother, we went on the roller coaster. We went to McDonald's. Oh, I got my healthy amount of McDonald's. They have this big ship in the middle with big water. They have an ice rink. We've seen the big ice rink, and a lot of people go skating in there. A lot of people go skating in there. They have a big water park or whatever. They have a big wind thing. Or what's the thing where the wave pool? I did so many wave pools when I was a kid. I did so many wave pools. I've been to a lot of attractions, and I got to go to West Edmonton Mall, and it was a great one. Because when I was in Tennessee, I wanted to go up and see my brother and get to go to the West Edmonton Mall and all that. We did that. But I might mind you, the police were. This was before they legalized marijuana. Oh, they were just pieces of garbage about. They're not that good of a police service out in Edmonton. I just couldn't salute them yet. They got an unsolved murder they still haven't prosecuted the two ones on, and the day that they came out after a little marijuana, even though my cousin legalized, we're all working on legalizing it, and it would have been a good review to say that it was just an unbelievable experience, but it wasn't. It's a nice place though. Look at this one. A lot of my family is very wealthy in Edmonton, I might mention. I got my whole Edmonton experience, yada yada, yada yada. But my friend Matt's been to Afghanistan. Same with Justin. Edmonton gets really cold. It gets really cold up there. But I'm a natural born Canadian. I'm big. Like I don't know. I've been more north than Edmonton. I've been more north than Edmonton. It's just a mall, though. Even though it's a big, big mall, it's just a mall. It's not that big. I think it's multiple levels, is it not? No, that's Mall of America. It's got a big, big water park in it. I never went to the water park. Me and Gotti were going to the water park, and that's when those haters were hating. We were very privileged. Now that since I've returned back, that's why I got my new firearm. There were some real weirdos over here in Canada. They've been going one by one. We just took out Randy. He looked like a fucking terrorist on that fucking mugshot, like a fucking straight American terrorist. And I've been coming after those American terrorists since I got back from the U.S. in 2010. And I've got every single one of them identified here in Canada too, and we're cleaning them up. I mean, I'm on the line with the top of the top RCMPs, and we're one by one cleaning up Canada for to be a safe place for the families and business people and everybody else alike. We just don't want these illegal murder drug sellers. We legalized marijuana. We already have the one website. If you don't know, it's an international website against drug trafficking. We don't want any of the cocaines, the heroines, and all that in the illegal market. We want it all to be regulated, not regulated. We don't want cocaine's illegal. Those drugs are bad, 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 bad drugs. Even marijuana is a bad drug. That's why you see the warnings. You look at these warnings. I suffered from some of this. Like the heterocyclics, or whatever the hell. Something to do with the hetero system. Your sexual, what the hell? What are those called? Yeah. Yeah, it does. It screws the whole thing up. So that's your warnings on it. Okay, just like cigarettes. I mean, look at them. But I couldn't be happier. It used to be bad here in Canada. When I came here, that's why they call me a war hero here in Canada. When me and Justin's our prime minister, I'm the war hero. When they came here in Canada, when I came here in Canada, there were and they're still around, a bad group of robbers. They would frickin' murder people for small amounts of marijuana. The illegal market was horrible. It's getting better. Like support your. That's today. I went to the store. I said I'm gonna. Today's one of those days. I said I'm gonna support the legalization because the crimes went down. There used to be murders up here in Canada, and that's been saved with the marijuana. Now we have the legal stores. It's a good person. You go in there. It's like a store, and it used to be like you want to buy this marijuana, you got to invite some really bad guy that looks like Randy Jackson named JD or something. They had all these code names. Like my name's StacksAMilli. I came from this fucking thing, this dirtbag piece of shit society. They all had fucking code names. Fucking DE. Fucking all these like weird code name aliases and shit. Showtime, Beans. Uh, they had all these names like Chief Keef. They had all these fucking weird aliases. So people don't know your real name. But I was a good guy, so I ran with my alias like, you know my real name, I'm just this famous guy. But these other guys with their aliases, you don't know their names at all. That's who they were, like these bad. I ended up, I was police, right? These ones were real criminals. I don't even know some of their names. We're having hard times identifying them. They work with some of the corrupt police, which are just lower end people, and we can usually identify them and all that because they'll be jealous of me. That's one of my sting operations. How's he making all this money? Who's he? Da da da. And they start attacking me. But I'm military. I'm able to defend myself. So then once we can get them, then we can process charges on them. It's they start usually they'll start. That's how we've eliminated a lot of crime. We legalized our regular citizens. If they want to enjoy the marijuana every once in a while, or whatever whatever. There's what the law is with that. You go to the store and all that. But when it came to the other ones that we're dealing with, we just got that Randy Jackson. I just got word about that Randy Jackson. It just came through my office. I remember him. He would smoke me, or no, I would buy marijuana off him. This was when we were working on legalization. I still would buy the marijuana illegally in small amounts, as many would do. But I was working with as an agent, right? And as a small time buyer, he was a he was a pretty big time seller I was starting to get to know. I just could detect his seriousness. He was letting it out slowly and surely. Every breath, he was letting out his seriousness. Then that's when recently I said, see, I was about a year or two off the investigation. They got him back in 2017. I was more than that. Listen, it just came through my office, but they already processed this like 6 years ago. It was just coming to my recollection. I said, you know who probably has illegal firearms in Canada? Is Randy Jackson. So then I contacted Randy Jackson. And I just said, like, hey, what do you know about illegal firearms? And he said, oh, it just so happens I went to prison for 8 years just recently, and now I'm barred from Canada. I was like, I just seen you in Canada 8 years ago. So then I look it up, and there's a mugshot, and he is never allowed in Canada again. Even though I just seen him here in Canada, he was in Canada, London. He even looks like he's from London. But that's one of he's a really good actor, that Randy Jackson. He's even got basketball things. He hangs out with J. Cole. He was part of one of their criminal networks. They've got, okay, we got to really watch who you're bringing into Canada if we're trying to regulate it. You know, all these cool guys, they're doing all these gangster rap shows and all that. They're the ones bringing it in. The illegal firearms, the da-da-das, the drugs, doing the murders. That's what happened out in Edmonton. A couple of those homicides. It was related to one of these rappers they brought up, that Gunplay and that Rick Ross. They had a show out in Edmonton. He hasn't been back since, Rick Ross. He was out in Edmonton. He did a show, and then he murdered some of his fans or whatever. A woman and a man, and all that. And one of their associates, he lives in the Mill Woods neighborhood out there. His name's D. He's like an African guy, and E. We're on them like no tomorrow. I got my firearm. I'm ready to defend myself and all that. And all that. I already had to shoot and kill one of them. But that was a good one we talked about at the embassy. The embassy was like so proud of me and all that. The way we're handling business. When I was down in the United States and Justin just got back, when I was originally born here in Canada, I had thought that our relation with the United States was that they understood that we were as great as them, but we were like brothers and we were like sisters. But then I went down to the United States, and I learned that no, they don't think that Canadians are their brothers. They want to. We were at war back in 1812. They're mad about us back in 1812 that we won the war. They hate anybody that says they want it, right? And they are relentless. They'll stab you in the fucking back and eat your heart out. I went down there and got to know them. They did it to the Japanese. They fucking dropped like a big gigantic bomb on them. And they're just like these poor little Japanese. I really think so. And I went down there, and their citizens treated me like shit, some of them, and they were really racist against Canadians. And they were choosing more of the Mexican side, even though I love Mexican food, I'm part Mexican. But they disrespected Canada a lot. To the point where I feel like Canada needs to close their borders, and we did that. But they got Randy Jackson trying to bring that up through the Nexus line. They shouldn't have many people on that Nexus system. I can't believe they had him on the Nexus system, but they got him. So it shows that there is good people that are still working at that border. A lot of good people. They got this Randy guy. And he was dangerous. He would have came up and shot me. He had guns. He had down in the United States, anybody, this guy, he could buy guns galore. He had 45, 50. He was killing people left and right, like birds. Um, yeah, the United States, they don't give a fuck. Why do you think they have so many mass shootings? Why do you think they have murders every day? Go look at your. They have. Go look at. Listen. Get off of Chicago. Look at Baltimore. Go look at the rest of them. Every single. There's towns you never even heard of. There's murders there. There's so many murders there. It's fucking. Just be careful. If you're a Canadian going down to the United States, that's all I'm saying. You're probably going to leave empty-handed or whatever, robbed or whatever. They're going to yell at you, scream at you, get in your face. You're a Canadian, and then you'll finally make it back up if you can. And they'll rip you off. They'll sell you property down there, and but that's neither here nor there. I've cleaned it up significantly. I grew up in the United States. We bought property there. So understand my perspective. We bought a lot of property there. I grew up in the school system there. It's a free market capitalist society. I wanted to clean the streets up legally and all that. So I created this tool, this website, trying to get rid of all these illegal. Well, we got rid of the drugs. I feel like I got a hold of the drugs, sort of. Clean the drugs up. This recent bus cleaned the guns up a little bit. If they clean that JD and that D and that E up out in Edmonton, we'd be looking really clean here. And in Toronto, if they busted, I have nothing against Drake and Adonis, but he's got a couple family members like JJ. If they sent JJ up to Quebec for life or whatever, that's how they were supposed to do them. Send them to Quebec into the really nice facilities that we have in Quebec where we can just forget about them and do like the electroshock treatment on them and all that, or worse or whatever, and just leave them in there and lock them away or whatever. They'd love JJ in Quebec. Up in the, he missed Sarah or whatever her name is in Barrie or whatever, but he would do well in Quebec, one of the Quebec prisons. They have really nice Quebec. He's a really good prisoner. He loves prison. And they got some beautiful prisons up in Quebec. They got all the contraptions up there, that he wants to experience and all that. I want to see them send more people to those ones. We always hear Kingston. What is Kingston? We have Quebec. And they're like brand new, hallways and all that. It's like, even I want to go. Is how nice some of the facilities are in Quebec. And you don't ever hear about many people living or being in prison in Quebec. They got a canteen. Canadian Shield. Fort Rupert. I think that's where a lot of our army is up in Quebec. Military. Stationed out in Quebec. They come from, they're like Canadian geese, eh? And they fly out from Quebec. I don't know how to make a Canadian geese sound. And you fly all the way out. None of it. St. John's. Where's that? Island of Newfoundland? I didn't know Newfoundland was an island. I guess maybe you did have to take a ferry over there, Labrador. I did go to Newfoundland, Labrador. We used to have a big video that would go all across the country. We went all across the country of Canada, but my mom left in Florida like she did a lot of things. Churchill Falls. But now I know who I am at least. Canadian Arctic. It must get cold up in the Canadian Arctic. Cold. St. Lawrence Basin. Lake something. What's Aurora? Is that what they call Northern Ontario? Aurora? I remember when I was born here in Canada. You first learn the map and you just get such great breaths of fresh air when you see the map of Canada. I'm still learning the map. There's a lot to learn. It's a big world. I mean, with all the different cities. Yeah, we deal with robberies and all that. They happen here in Canada. It's a big place. Sort of like the wild, wild west in some places they try to make it, but it's not. I mean, I've seen it a couple times. It's not that bad a place, but it's not. The safety rating's not as high. I mean, it's not as nice of a safety rating as they say. They used to say, "Oh, it's the safest place on earth." Really, like it's not. It's like you got the United States and then you got Canada. It's not extremely safe. Okay. You got to have a pepper spray or a dog spray if you're going to go hiking type of things. Some people are gun owners, just like in the United States or anything, but it's Canada. It's not the United States, it's Canada. And we have criminals, just like the United States is famous for having criminals. But we made it famous too in Edmonton, in Toronto. In Edmonton and Toronto, they have sort of like a Canadian version of Cops. I don't know what this called. This was about 10 years ago they made this show. Canadian Cops or whatever. It's like a TV show. I can't remember the one. And it's just like in the United States, because they were the originators, the original ones that had like that Bad Boys cop show. Because I know because I grew up here in Canada and then I went down to the United States and lived there for 5 years, 7 years, and got to experience them from on the ground and all that. So we got crime too, but we do a good job at eliminating it. And that's where I fit in. I had to come up with some kind of way to, make a living, sort of, and I sort of fit into that. I'm an agent. I'm an agent. They didn't. They don't. They have agents here in Canada. I've heard of them. We heard of them. You have Mr. Bean, but you also know that hey, Mr. Bean was the joke agent. He's from the United Kingdom, but in Canada, you always knew that potentially you have police agents or different government agents. Ones, and I never understood what the term agent meant until you correspond with different correspond. They use you in different ways to correspond to do the best for the country. You're a service person. I've had to put my life in risk a couple times, like with that Randy Jackson that they just got. But like Randy Jackson's, I never seen him as too bad of a person. I mean, he's still living down in the United States. But most of the criminals are pretty stupid, but some of them are really smart. Some of the top criminals are really, really smart. Yeah, there's nothing better than just being like a good person. Today's a pretty good day. There's nothing too much going on. I feel like they do a good job. The uniformed police, do a really good job at taking care of a lot of things. I'm out of work. They got a lot of people doing a lot of things. It was rampant. It was rampant at the time. I had to help with Chicago and all the other ones. It was rampant. I developed this internet tool. Believe it or not, everybody was doing the illegal stuff. When I made this website, it was dark net market. Everybody was actually selling the drugs. The overdoses were crazy. The homicides were crazy. Everything was crazy. And I was like, hey, I'm going to make this website just like the dark net market, but it's not gonna. You're not gonna actually get any drugs or any guns or any nothing off of it. No counterfeit money, nothing. It's a controlled purchase, seizure, and then directing of the information to the agencies that fit the certain categories and yada yada, or it's automatically. Believe it or not, that's what I got to learn. A lot of the corresponding is done automatically, which that was what I really wanted to do. But we cleaned it up. And I knew it was going to be like that, but they come in waves. It's like when people get out of school, the whole wave of them, they choose what they're going to want to do. Like that Randy Jackson. He was a good guy. He went to school. It took so long to get him to be a criminal or whatever, and nobody wanted him to be a criminal. It took so long for him as a human or whatever to develop into being a criminal in society or what have you because of the choices he made. So at first he was National Guard, he was good, he even had passes to the Nexus, he had all these privileges. And then he started taking advantage of his privileges, and then he's 67 guns he illegally sold, he smuggled, right? So they come in waves, like you have a lot of good times, and then so that leaves time for, like, say somebody like me to get some rest and then maybe come up with some more ideas. But we need more people. We need more people with ideas. We got a lot of police here in Canada that are enforcing the law, right? We want to get the criminals, and I'm big into getting these criminals, right? You hear me all the time talking this one guy's name and all that for certain ones, right? Because I testify in court. There's certain ones that need to turn themselves in. Even my ex-probation, she needs to turn herself in. I mean, you can't test. That's a violation of the law. Attempted murder. You have to go to jail. Just like I went to jail for crimes that was attested against me. You have to be tried as well. But here's the thing: we don't need police and criminals. We need more people like me, kids that went to school, got a job, make businesses. It doesn't have to be a restaurant with a cool menu and a cool this, or a cool menu with a cool food. We got a lot of those. We do need some more. I wouldn't mind a good restaurant with a cool menu and some good food. But there's all different ideas. Like my anti-drug website, that was an idea. But it doesn't have to be an anti-drug website. But there's all different ideas. I've been pushing that Amazon. Amazon's great. How about just getting on the program? Amazon, you can get all your necessities on there. Then you're saving big money, and we can pay our taxes and own whatever you want in Canada, land or real estate. I don't know. There's ideas. Trust me, you would know, because when you're young, you have more time to enjoy the world. So you're going to come up with an idea. You have the energy to do it and provide it. And that's what we need in Canada, providers. That's what they always asked me when I was a young man. You're going to be a provider, provide the money. How are you going to do it? You got to do it legally. Well, you can. They were wanting programmers, and I wasn't very good at programmers and yada yada, web design. As long as you're doing something good. Hell, I'm tired of the programming. What about a good conversation? Social workers. That's what they are big time promoting in Canada right now, is social workers. And they have a certain name for the certain ones. Certain social workers. They're called, I can't remember. It's some sort of like a PSW. So that's what they've been trying to do. That's what they've been trying to figure out. It's like, what do we want now? Well, it's social workers. We want speakers, people to talk to, I think is the best one, to get it all out. A lot of people are extremely wealthy and all that and have the money. They just want to get it all out and tell their story and all that. You can do that by making a YouTube channel, just like I did, and hop on your webcam and just blurt. if you want to do that. You don't have to go out and protest because protesting can be quite dangerous and it could be against the law in certain circumstances. But it's funny too. I like this picture here. This one's a cute one. And some people are in the mood to go outside. I was in the mood for that too. I just did that for 3 years. Was outside. And I want to, yeah. I think the next big thing is just savings for me. I want to get into that tax-free savings account that everybody in Canada has. You have to save anything in that. And from my understanding, I talked to this guy that's got $15 million in his bank account for real, 15 million. And you know how he makes, you know how he's making $150,000 a year out of his tax-free savings account. Once you have any money, you put it in that tax-free savings account, and it just starts stacking. So now he's got 15 million, and he's making $150,000 a year for doing nothing, all off of his TFSA, because it calculates for a certain amount that you have in it. They make investments with it, and they pay you back. So that's how he became wealthy, compounded his money in the TFSA or whatever. That was one of his investments. So I want to do that. You're allowed to have that, and it's an exemption. And it, from my understanding, the more money you have in it, the more it adds up, the more money you make tax free or whatever. So I want to do that. Especially if you're looking to buy a home in Canada, that's a way to start saving. Tax free, because my home will be exempted under my own. I'm set up and ready to go. It's like, Tom, do not get in trouble. You're set up and ready to go. You have everything you need. That's what I'm saying. We're eliminating all these criminals. We're getting rid of them. Tom's first time home buyer. I'm getting my TFSA. I'm saving. I'm going to buy a really nice home here in Canada. Like, I'm talking really nice. It's going to be unbelievable. All right. It's going to be unbelievable. In 25, 30 years, when I am in one of the largest homes here in Canada, just like I've seen many of my elders, because I followed the system the way it was supposed to be done, I created my own legal things to make my extra money for the things that I need. Everybody's got different necessities. Thomas, he's a natural born Canadian citizen. He's one of the royalty. He's one of the ones that was originally related to the royal families. I'm a larger individual. I'm a man. We have privacy. It doesn't even concern. That's a great thing in Canada. Once it goes beyond a certain thing, I have rights to privacy. It's only to what I want to share. Can you believe that's how it is? Because guess what? You have citizenship. You've been given your privilege. Some people don't have citizenship. They never got the privilege. It's a membership. It costs money. Family had to fight in war and all that. We never died in war. My family conquered. We never died. But rest in peace to all the veterans that did their damnedest. Lest we forget. And I had to deal with a lot of that. I've dealt with some ones that died, not in my direct family, but in my friends, I guess. My friends. You can't save everybody. I wish I could have, but it's impossible. I'm not the Rick Ross always calls himself that one thing, or maybe it was that Busta Rhymes. He said he was like that guy with all the claws and all that. It's hard to be like that. Even Snoop Dogg just lost his own mother. So if you know how big Snoop Dogg is, he just performed at Super Bowl. He came to see me in London in the hospital. He even lost his mom because he's just a normal person. And that's what a lot of people say to me, whenever they see me. It's because I live in an area where you might not see the same people every day. It's different people almost every day that you see. And I get almost every time I'm out, I can't believe you're a real person. That's how I used to be too. Oh my God, but they told me, Tom, stop being starstruck. I don't know what it was. When me and my brother Gotti were together, we were like these two angels. We wouldn't want to get in any trouble. And people knew that we were like these two angels from Ontario, these two boys. We were like we're two very famous brothers in Canada. And all the way down to Florida and all that, everywhere. Actually, we're internationally known. But we were too soft. We were like two marshmallows together because um, we didn't want to let each other down. To we didn't want to be bad people. Gotti wanted to be a successful rapper. He wanted to do it legit. He wanted to do everything. He didn't want to be a mafia boss. He didn't want to have to murder and all that. Nor did I. I mean, I didn't directly sign. I wanted to be military, but then when it came down to deployment, I didn't want to go to Afghanistan and murder. Even though I talk a good game, and they say that about the rappers, I'm like, oh, I'll go over there and just destroy them. But I did. The fact is, I did not go to Afghanistan and do anything. But Matt had to go to Afghanistan, my friend, my own friend. And really, you thought they would have sent me. I mean, Matt was he's of a wealthier family than me, and he's just a little guy. They would have probably rather me, right? I could carry the big weapon, and I'm just this big, gigantic mongoloid, Whereas Matt was like this good-looking guy. But they say that like it can happen. Even the good-looking guy could get, and that would have been Matt. But he's back in Florida and all that. They got Justin. Would have been. They thought it was all three of us, but I was a Canadian citizen too, and fuck, it just didn't work out like that. But who knows? We're at war every day. That's what we learn. Even being on the homeland, we got, you know, it is military, even though I wasn't deployed. But I thought me, Matt, and Justin were all going to get deployed together, but we didn't all get deployed together. They just got deployed, but I never signed up. I got into business, didn't make as much money as I thought I'd make. But I made enough to live and not be deployed at the time. And I'm starting to get back onto my feet where I would never not to be deployed again or whatever. Unless unless it got really bad where I would have to go get deployed. All I see it as if they're not on our homeland. I mean, it's a war in the homeland. That's my policing. So I am working military. We had to send Matt and Justin over to Afghanistan, but I've been here in Canada. I've been dealing with a lot of countries, but not. It's not all about war. It's more about understanding too. It's all about money. It's opened up a lot. It's opened up a lot. The internet with that Bitcoin, international trade is opened up a lot more than it used to. People, I got friends in Europe and in the Middle East and Belarus type of ones and Macedonia and all that. Like, I love those people just as if they were my neighbor next to me in my apartment building. And I can connect to them on Skype or whatever, and we always chatted and opened up this. And But I remember being scared when I was growing up in the United States because there is some dads and there is some older ones that, and they're the reason why I never got rich, eh? Because they terrified me. They just terrify kids. Oh, they terrify kids to the point where the kid is scared to even do anything, to open his mind. My dad used to terrify me over a $21 hosting bill. You got some good dads and some that wasn't, and I just accidentally got around a couple of the ones that, yeah, and they do that to kids all the time, and that's why you got it, a lot of those problems. They terrify the damn kid. They make it. They make the kid think that they're the only way is to do some big thing to change it or whatever. When it's really a mind state, everything's good. Don't worry about anybody else's problems. Sorry, nobody else's problems. Everything's good in your life. Nothing needs to be changed, but there's a lot of these. Yeah, there's a lot of little scams and all that, even within the government, that we could try to eliminate or whatever to try to stop some of the mass shootings and all. One way is like videos like this. Now listen to me. I'm trying to teach you and all that. You don't got to. You have a firearm. That's a great technology. I don't have the most nicest firearm. A lot of kids in the U.S. they start out. They have God's best weapon or whatever the hell they call it. In the Bible, it was like a scythe or whatever. I don't know what it was, but you have your tool, right? A lot of them do, and I did. I had a rifle down in the United States when I lived there. But that's a very expensive thing. That's going to last a lifetime if you clean it and take care of it. I remember when I was a kid, I wouldn't even clean my rifle. I was so infatuated with the internet. I couldn't get off of it. It was internet, virtual this, virtual that, and that's how it is. But in my back of my mind, I didn't realize, oh my God, I'm losing everything in real life because I'm learning so much about that virtual life and the virtual business. Because business is virtual and yada yada. So watch how much you want to make sure that you maintain your life on. You want a good healthy balance. And the internet's not as important. All the information on the internet's not as important as you think it is. Really, just it's not as complex to learn as I thought it would have been. It's really as simple as the click of a button if somebody's going to send you the money or not. It's not too much. You don't got to learn everything. That was one of my strategies. So I'm going to learn everything. I'm not going to have sex. I'm not going to go to parties. I'm just going to learn everything. And it doesn't work like that. You got to have, like, there's people that are making money just from going to parties. They're millionaires. They met somebody at a party. They happen to have 25 million. Hey, I really liked you. Here, have $1 million. Like, it works like that too. You don't got to sit on the computer and so don't get infatuated with that or infatuated or whatever the hell you call it. Grasp life for what it is at the moment. That's a good one. Try to make something out of it. Don't be fearful of trying to make something out of it, even though you denied. Because it might end up working, and then you're going to be so happy in the end. You're going to have everything. What many men do, they take everything that they ever needed. That was the thing about me. I was way too generous, and that's what I'm trying to change because I want to make this. Because everyone used to, because I was big, so they already. I don't know. Man, I'd let people get to my head. My mom used to say, "Don't care about what people." Uh, I don't know. It's all changed when I was young. When it changes when you start being able to buy your own clothes, when you be able to buy your own this, that, and the others. When you're a kid, I had to start over. See, I started early in 2012 or whatever. I started making my own money, like big time. Even before then, I was making. I actually no. The first time I ever made money was in Calgary. Me and my brother, we were selling jeans, clothes. And I made some money. And at that time, I remember the feeling of the goddamn cash in my hand. And that was one feeling. That was one feeling. But then God, he punched me in the face and ripped my shirt and took it out of my hand. And then that's when I learned how important it is that people, kind of like when I heard as a kid, like money's very serious. Like some families, bro, like that's the thing. My brother wasn't one of them. Some of them break bread, bro. Like they bring out the stacks. Boom, here have fucking 20 G's, dad. Boom, fucking everybody's breaking bread. The money's coming in. Everybody's got a gun out, because everybody loves each other. And if somebody steps through the door, nobody's gonna snitch or whatever, because we're shooting that nigga and chopping him up, putting him in a bag. But everybody was snitching. Even I was a snitch until I met that Phil Thompson, and he taught me the fucking way. Because my dad was no real dad. His name's John Slote, my biological. Just a dumbass hillbilly biker, whatever. Even I'm a dumbass hillbilly biker still. Yeah, that John